Welcome to the Homeschool Together podcast. Where one working mom and a stay-at-home dad help you navigate the nuts and bolts of the growing and dynamic world of homeschooling.
With a focus on early learners, like me.
All the ins and outs of building and maintaining your homeschool life.
Homeschool.
Find out tips and tricks to make things like this easier.
I'm reading.
And ultimately, enjoy educating your kids. And what's that last thing?
Have fun together. Did I do good, Daddy?
Yeah, you did, sweetie. Good job. Hello and welcome back to Homeschool Together. I know if you've always thought about meeting your heroes in life, the answer is don't meet your heroes because they might disappoint you, but we won't disappoint you. If you come out to the library...
Well, what a plug.
But here's the thing. We're not your heroes. We're just the people in your ears. But if you come out to the library, Snohomish City Library, I think it's June 21st.
At 2 to 4 p.m.
At 2 to 4 p.m., we will give a talk about homeschooling, and if you have any questions and everything, you can come out and meet us. Ariel, I'm told as I glance over my shoulder that it's summer.
The Pacific Northwest tries to trick us.
They do.
So,
Yeah.
it's May and, spoiler alert as we record this. And we may be going to January. We don't know.
We don't know. You never know. It's 50-50.
But it's that time of year again. And we do this every year where we start to think about what we're going to do for the summer.
Yeah. As things are winding down, maybe your co-op is winding down or you're kind of opening up for the summer and you're going to have a lot of fun. You're thinking about down gearing, maybe you're homeschooling, or maybe you're starting homeschooling this coming year, and you want to get off on the right foot, and you want to use the summer as kind of a springboard into that. Something that we always do is we homeschool year round. That's kind of the one of the things that we do. We really embrace doing that. For me, I just moving the ball down the field. I can't stop.
Well, it also just means when we have a week that they're gone with the grandparents during the school year, or somebody is sick, or we didn't make the progress that we wanted to for umpteen reasons. Mm-hmm. All of December kind of gets a little squirrely around the holidays. Just all of that. We just don't have to take that as seriously. We don't think, oh gosh, that was one of my X number of days.
Yeah.
So
like just for a good example, I was actually hoping that I'd be finishing the All About Reading curriculum, the level 1, with our youngest by now, and I'm like behind by about 7-8 lessons, and so okay, great. Now I got the summer to continue that going. I don't feel like there's some artificial stopping point like you would have with regular schooling. That June 15th, it's the end of the year, kids. We'll see you in 3 months. And then they would go ahead and restart, 3 or 4 months ago. We just continue on and we can just keep that momentum going. So many times we're making gains and we're helping our children through whatever roadblocks they might be going through, or that you're having some, a resurgence of something new. Maybe your child is starting to read and you don't want to lose that type of momentum. And so we always like to plan something for the summer, to do something for the summer. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about what we're doing for summer and hopefully maybe inspire you as well to do that. So we're doing science this summer, right? Yes.
Yeah. We're doing the Summer of Science.
Summer of Science.
So
trademarked, homeschooling.
So we end up doing a social studies curriculum like Build Your Library and, or when we did Build Your Library and Torchlight, whatever, they always have a science component, and the science always gets kind of sloughed to the side.
Yeah.
Now, we did do prehistory for a while, and we're going to do prehistory again with our youngest. And so that's kind of more science focused. But in general, science just never gets the star position, right?
And I do a little bit of like an Evan Moore kind of STEM book along the way. But that tends to be more ELA in a lot of respects.
Yeah,
because
it's a lot of reading and
writing. Yeah.
So we were kind of struggling a little bit. And one of the things that we loved so much the first time we did our around the world journey was the space science component that is part of Blossom and Roots Level K. They have a fabulous space science. And so we did that with our older daughter at that time, kind of as much as we could while we were also doing the countries of the world. And my intention was to do that again this time But then we decided on biomes instead. So we did biomes as we went through the countries, which actually was, that dovetailed so well together. I really loved doing biomes. I think it was a great way to put science in there. But we wanted to do space science this summer. It's the time when we can get out. We can actually do stargazing. It's not going to be cloudy and rainy and all that stuff. So, and we love space science. You worked at NASA for a little while.
A little bit, Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah, when you were just out of college and in college and interning and stuff. So we really are into space things, and we love like sci-fi literature and movies and all that. So we thought like, oh, cool, space science will be great. Now, Blossom and Roots K space science is a 36-week curriculum, and it's actually what's really cool about it. If you haven't checked it out, and I think did we already do a
did a review
of it?
I'll put it in the show notes.
Okay, I can't remember. So what's really cool about it is they have these letters from Zula. It's this alien who's like you have to help her find the planet or whatever. And so every week your child gets one of these messages in the curriculum, and it dovetails with whatever they're learning that week. And it's not just the planets and things, it's also asteroids, and they study the International Space Station, and talk about like what astronauts need to go into space and how to build a rocket. And it's so well done. It's so well thought out. So it's not just kind of your standard, okay, we're going to study the planets. It has a lot going on for it. So we highly recommend that. And we'll be vlogging through the summer about what we do. And so we're going to shorten that. And just find some strategic ways, because since we're not doing anything else, it's normally meant to be something you would do like one day a week. You do it a couple of hours, but we're going to be, so all we're going to be doing aside from our normal math and reading, which we're going to continue through the summer. We're not going to do anything else for social studies. We're just going to do the space science and play with our friends and swim in the pool and do all the summery things. Go to camp.
I like this model where we take summer and make it a science type of thing. It's the
first time we've done it.
It's the first time we've done it.
But we like it.
Yeah, we like it. And we were kicking around the idea of what we were going to do. Maybe, I think we were in Prague. We were talking, walking and talking, and we said, hey, maybe we should do science. Like, this should make this big thing, because it does have this element of, it is left to the side. We know a lot of homeschool families ask the questions about science, like, what do we do about science and all that type of stuff. And really, like, the idea of dedicating your full attention to it through the whole summer, I really feel like we're just trying to, like, we were doing game planning and thinking about, like, how many days a week. It was like, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you add it all up, I mean, it's probably more science than we would ever do in an entire year.
Right.
And you get to really focus on it and really embrace it and tease out the threads. And then that's going to go right into next year when we do the prehistory and then get into ancients. So we're going to have kind of like a long, year-long summer, year-long science run here. But the real big focus here with the summer of science, I think, is a really cool way to kind of really just dive deep into it.
Well, and I think space science is perfect to do to lead into prehistory, because the very beginning of prehistory is the Big Bang and talking about all of the early universe and stuff. So the kids will already have a grounding in some pieces of space science before we go there and then start to talk about the evolution of humanity and all of that stuff, right? So I think it's a great segue to do that. So that's what we're planning to do as our main focus. And I'm super excited to get the telescope out. And we're going to watch a bunch of sci-fi movies. And we've actually started watching sci-fi movies ourselves. And so we're going to talk about like the movies that we watched and that we watched as a family. But the first thing we need to do is finish wrapping our trekking the globe. So we're just finishing with the United States, and then we'll do wrap-up videos and all that stuff for YouTube that you can check out. And then we're going to get started on this. And I'm just really, really looking forward to it.
And let's talk a little bit about, something that we've been doing with the combined curriculum now that we've brought both of our learners together into the same level of the curriculum. We have had to expand in certain areas to make it more applicable for our older daughter. And we are planning on doing that here with our daughter, our oldest, this summer, where with the science and the Blossom and Root curriculum, we are going to be adding in additional books. Yeah. We're going to be adding in additional activities and things for her to do that are more at her level. And so as we kind of go through the summer and we're doing the videos, and the videos will extend into the fall because we're always very delayed in getting those out. But, as it kind of evolves, you'll see kind of the little wrinkles that we're able to do to kind of tailor this up to her level and what type of resources we pulled in. Not that you should necessarily do exactly those resources, but I always like to say, watch the thinking, and we would love to hear what you guys have to say about what you guys do when you're leveling up curriculums, because I think that's a common problem that a lot of families are going through, and seeing more and more people on what they do helps those families do that. And so hopefully, as we vlog through the summer and we showcase kind of like, what we do to level it up, that'll maybe give you and inspire you on what would work best for your learner, on how to, span the gap on the age ranges for that type of curriculum.
Yeah, so this is a K curriculum, and our younger daughter will be a rising first grader, and our older daughter will be a rising fourth grader. And having done the curriculum before, I know that even unchanged, it's perfect for the first grader. No problem at all with that. It's, these subjects can be kind of heady to try to understand what's going on with the atmospheres of these different planets and all this stuff. So I think there's a lot going on there that as written is perfect for our first grader. For our fourth grader, it's probably about halfway there. Like we will probably add in a few chapter books for her to read, some science fiction chapter books, or maybe some that are directly applicable to what we're studying at that time. And then we have a few great, like we have the space ! Encyclopedia, knowledge encyclopedia, the Smithsonian DK one. And so we'll probably pull that into for our older daughter so that she can, and we'll probably have her do some writing assignments. There's a captain's log thing they're supposed to write in, and of course we'll help our first grader. But I think we'll probably have our older daughter do maybe we'll do like creative writing, a story or something. I don't know. We're still thinking about what we're going to do there for her to continue with writing.
Is she starting to seem like she enjoys the creative writing aspect, like telling stories? I mean, she's listened to so many stories. She kind of has a nice grounding in, what a story kind of sounds like, and maybe what makes it okay to listen to.
Yeah.
And she kind of has that innate understanding of story. And I think a few times now we've had tasked her, and just recently she got tasked to write a short story, and she really, really enjoyed it. And we've enrolled her in for next year, hopefully, in the coming week, in a creative writing class. So we're going to see if we can tease out the writing skills through a little bit of storytelling and having her tell stories and really embrace the fun of doing that, because she likes to tell stories. She likes to think in stories. She likes to listen to stories. And so we're going to hopefully maybe tailor in that. And I think you're right. Reading some really cool short science fiction, some famous classics. I've already started reading her Ender's Game. And we'll pair that with a dinner and a movie type of thing. And we have a bunch of other movies that we have, in a list that
it's
we're going to watch.
It's a long list.
Yeah. So
there's just so many great movies set in space, and I'm really excited.
Well, and there's a big movie. I think the new Pixar movie's coming out this summer. Elio's coming out as well. So it's a really cool time to kind of be grounded in that. So
yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Summer is this great time. We've talked about this before, but if you're a new homeschooling family, summer is this great time to experiment. If you're not sure what your style is yet, or you're not sure what your kids will like, and even us having homeschooled for as many years as we have, I think summer is still a fun time to play. It's a fun time to try something a little bit different and see we haven't really done creative writing with our daughter, but we're seeing like glimpses that she might like it. So let's play around with it for the summer and see how that goes before she starts her class in the fall. And let's see what she's ready for in terms of new chapter books. And let's see our younger daughter's aptitude for science, right? We don't actually know what that's going to be. We haven't really done science, other than some workbooks. We haven't done a lot of science with her, and the biomes was it was sciencey, but it was more animals for her. And so, I think this will be great. It's a great time to experiment. It's a low expectation time, right? There's lots of playing with friends and going to the park and, having fun summer activities and things like that, going to the lake or the river or whatever it is, or the beach.
Well, and beyond the summer of science, we are going to continue with our math curriculums. Our youngest is in Math Mammoth 1 right now, and our oldest is finishing up, Right Start. No, she's in Math. No, she finished Right Start. Now she's in Math Mammoth 5?
Math Mammoth 5, yeah.
Something like that. That's where we're at. We just keep moving right now.
Well, yeah, she just
doing
seems
fine.
To do really well in math. So
she's doing fine.
We're continuing.
We're continuing with that. And then our oldest is about to finish the All About Reading level 3, so we'll continue with that. And I think we're going to pull in maybe some Beyond the Code stuff a little bit more. I've been tailoring less about phonics work because we're kind of transitioning out of that and more into reading comprehension, writing, critical thinking, and that. And then obviously along with all of that is spelling, right? Like, I just got to get
the spelling.
We got to improve the spelling and everything, and the handwriting. The handwriting's okay-ish, so maybe work on some penmanship. I think there's some creative calligraphy classes and stuff that she might be eligible for next year. We'll see.
Yeah, and she's like, she's also, we have like all about spelling, I think level 1 and 2. We had tried it one time, and I don't know if we'll pick those up again or if we'll try a different spelling curriculum. We just weren't consistent with them.
It wasn't, and I think we were a little too far ahead of where like level 1 was. Like she was in level 2, and I think you really need to pair the levels and work them together. So we haven't really done a good spelling thing. If you have a suggestion, feel free to hit us up with an email or put it in the comments on YouTube.
I'm kind of interested in maybe a digital spelling something or other that she can do on her iPad.
Well, the funny thing, I was playing, spoilers, I was playing a game and on my phone, and it was one of these, it was a huge grid array, 20 by 20 letter tiles, and you had to spell words within it. You can go diagonal and everything, and you can cut back as well, so it doesn't have to be in a straight line. And I was just quick swiping to knock out the tiles, and the tiles fall. It's almost like a Tetris thing where the level, the row is cleared. And then if you get the whole row, it collapses in either left or right. So just the box is shrinking, right? And she was sitting next to me watching me play the game. And she was like, "Oh, Daddy, there's a word, there's a word, there's a word." And I was like, "Oh, interesting. You might enjoy doing some spelling activities in games." So you're right. Like maybe like looking for other avenues as opposed to just the boring spelling tests or just the boring writing sentences that I've been having her do.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know if that's a section of IXL or not, but I'd like to find something digital. We're going to have a few times next year where we need digital, and we need a few more independent things for her. She's 9.5 now, and I think a few more independent work items would be great so that you can also focus with our younger daughter. And we're getting busier and things, so it's time. It's time for that to happen, to be able to say, hey, go and take 30 minutes on your tablet and take care of spelling or whatever.
And the next thing, we're obviously with a lot of activities in the summer, a lot of people like to do camps. We did a lot of that last year, and I think this year we're really embracing the slow pace.
Well, yeah, the girls will both go to Girl Scout camp, and then they both have an overnight camp 2 different weeks. Because of their ages, they're on 2 different sessions. So, and the week when one of them is at camp, the other one's going to be with my parents at the beach, and vice versa. So we will have a few weeks of kind of kid free time. But the rest of the summer, people have asked us if we wanted to do summer sports leagues, and there's been a few different things floating around. Oh, do you want to go to this extra camp? Oh, my kid's going to this day camp. They'd love to have their friends go with them, and we have just turned it all down because last summer I think we had like 4 camps, and we did summer basketball league at the Y, and it was just
turned out to be a little too much for us.
Yeah,
the summer just kind of disappeared on us. That was really what it was. It felt
did.
Like it just,
the summer was like insta over.
Yeah, and I would like to drag it out and just enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah, we set up the pool, and we were like, wow, we haven't even got to swim in the pool because we've been going. So I agree. This summer we're going to try to slow it down a little bit. We realized that the pendulum swung a bit hard towards the busy side. And while we do homeschool all year round, we want to make sure that the summer is lighter, because that's the time when our public school friends are out of school and can play, and that's also the time that it's best to go down to the lake and all that stuff. It's our golden time of year here in the Pacific Northwest.
Don't want to miss it.
We don't want to miss it. So it's a time for summer movies and
farmers markets and all that type of fun stuff.
Just all the fun. The UPick Farm is opening I think it's opening this weekend with strawberries. I meant to tell you. So yeah, there's just lots of fun things. And last summer was really strange too, because I'd had a car accident at the beginning of the summer. And I was recovering kind of all summer long from the head trauma from that. And so I think it just really, that helped to steal our summer as well.
It did.
So this year, we're really looking forward to having some time together to spend. You've been working so hard on your master's that you've been doing all these extra classes, and you've been super busy. So now it's a good time for us all to spend some family time.
Yeah, I just speed ran a few tests that I thought were going to be in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
now
in 1 week you took all your national teaching exams.
Yes, I did.
It's like 7 hours of exams in
I
1
had to
week.
meet the schedule. I had to get it all done, and
You did. You passed everything.
I did.
I'm so proud of you.
I is smart.
Well, it's one more step on your road to being a teacher, which is going to
Absolutely.
be really, really great. So
Absolutely.
we're excited about that for you. And this might be kind of our last breather before all kinds of things start and get busy. So we're going to enjoy that. So I think that's mostly what we're up to this summer, and I'm hoping that we get a few trips to help augment our studies, maybe to the planetarium in Seattle, that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, and if we run into any of those things, we'll go ahead and share those on the blog and everything.
Yeah.
And just remind you that in a couple of weeks, if you are in our area, we will be doing that talk. Great way to start your summer. And
just a little last plug for
just
those.
a little last plug.
Well, we have like this. I don't know if you have this. I'll be vulnerable and honest. I have this like irrational fear that we're going to show up and there's going to be like 2 people. And
So I've done the world tour around the Puget Sound, doing talks for my writers group. We did this, almost like 7 years ago.
The big one was like a toddler.
She came along, and my friend who was in the back was watching her and then playing with her while I gave these like 1.5-hour lectures about writing and publishing and stuff. And I did like 20 or 30 of them over the course of like a year and a half. And it was cool. It was a great experience. And I can tell you, like, sometimes you walk into that library and there's 3 people there and you're all prepared, and like you almost outnumber the number of people in there. But, even in that small setting, it can be very intimate. You can have a very personal conversation. Those people are there to hear this information, and then you can really tailor it to them. And then sometimes you'll have 15, 20 people in there, and it feels like you're talking to an audience, and it's a different vibe. And so, but those are enjoyable as well. So like you just tailor it. So even if it is only like 4 or 5 people, it's a great time to be very personal, and you can really hear like what they're saying and what they're thinking, and really talk to them directly to them.
Yeah, a bit more one-on-one.
And for them, that's the world, right? You can go ahead and help them, and they can go on and be successful. But even with the larger group, you can really get a lot of questions, and you can feel like you can talk about anything at that point, and really get the vibe of the room. So yeah, it's either way. I've had both experiences, and it's fun either way, because a lot of times those people are there, like they're taking out their time to come to something, to see this thing. Like we see it at our parent partnership with the tours that come through, and for those people, I mean, this is like the biggest decision they're making. Homeschooling, making the decision to homeschool, is a huge decision for people.
And if you need to bring your kids, bring your kids. Maybe we'll bring some Duplos or something.
Yeah,
in the back.
we'll have a big crate of Duplos and Magna-Tiles in the back.
Yeah, we'll bring some stuff, just so there's something for the kids to do. Wouldn't want anyone to feel like they can't come because they've got their kiddos, because that's the way we roll as homeschoolers. We always have kids in tow.
We know
ours won't be. They're going to be off with grandma and grandpa. But otherwise, if you're planning to come, like, drop us a line, send me a Facebook message, like, hey, we're planning to be there.
RSVP.
No, I just have this irrational fear that we're going to get there. This is our first kind of big break, y'all. Like, I have this dream that someday we're going to be invited to speak at a homeschool convention. I don't know why this is my big pipe dream, but it is.
We'll be on a panel discussion.
Yeah, like at some point, we're here at like 450 episodes. What are we at? 454 episodes. And I feel like we've learned so much, and we've talked to so many different families, and we're still learning and growing. But that's like, someday I'd like to be invited onto a convention, like to a panel. And so this is the first time we've ever given like a public talk for this. I mean, obviously you've given tons for your writers group, but for homeschooling, this is the first time that we've done that. We had a couple of opportunities before that fell through. We had one at a bookstore, but then they closed the bookstore. And so anyways, this is our first time. So if you're, even if you don't have homeschool questions,
just come and say hi.
Just come on and say hi. Because I want there to be somebody there.
We're not scary. All our homeschool journey people agree. I speak for all of them.
Yeah. They always get on and they're just like, "Oh, I'm really on the podcast now." And then we chat, and it's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you're just normal folks."
It's just like a backyard barbecue.
Yeah,
we're just hanging out.
Yeah, minus the hot dogs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what we've got going on for our summer. Let us know in the Facebook group, like, what's your summer plan? Do you have something really cool that you're going to do? A deviation from your normal homeschool routine? Are you trying a brand new curriculum? Are you starting homeschooling for the first time and you're just going to dabble for the summer with some unit studies before you jump in the fall, or, let us know what's your plan. And if you take off for the summer, let us know how you recoup in the fall. I think that's always really interesting. Like, how do you gear back up? So hope that was helpful to everybody, and hope you all have a wonderful summer. Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time,
Happy homeschooling!